revolution, there will be the possibility and even the likelihood that you will reproduce the mistakes of others. As the world of imperialism is powerful and also studies revolution and revolutionaries, they have studied these people in depth. And so my question is, why do you keep yourself away from the Maos and the Ho Chi Minhs and the Castros? Because their writing is easily available.
I have already answered your question, because they are atheists and because I am a believer in God and I am a believer in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I hope and I am sure and for that matter my movement after me will take the light from Quran and the life of the Prophet. These two things will guide us, inshallah. But as a suggestion, I am ready to go for some of these writings, and the credit will go to you that you persuaded me.
Yeah, Malcolm.
Yes, please.
As this is our last formal session, I would like to thank you for the way in which you've presented your material, the clarity with which you've spoken, the achievement of speaking from a few notes and yet doing so well and so clearly, and with delightful sense of humour and nice touches. It's been a pleasure and a delight to listen to, and
thank you very
much indeed for that. Now, I'm not a Marxist, and one slight worry I have is that I think you're a bit more of a Marxist. You don't need to start reading this stuff. I think you're already influenced by the vision of the world that Marx constructed, where you have a sort of entrenched enemy which needs to be overcome. The only mechanism needs to be ultimately resort to revolution or violence, and the whole transformation of the system, so you can't take this. And that sort of picture, has pervaded our consciousness, and I think has affected the way you've interpreted the Prophet's life. And I put to you the suggestion that perhaps, given you're so concerned with pure Islam, that what you've partly done here is allowed your Islam to be shaped with the sort of Marxism that sort of permeates much radical talk in many movements. In the same way as nobody in the West has read Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, but there are millions of people who've been affected by it. I think I would like to suggest you've been affected by the way you've interpreted the Prophet's life, by the sort of Marxist model that pervades our society and those who think of these things in these ways. And linked to this, I'm still not entirely clear, and it might be that I'm just a little dim and not very bright, but I'm not entirely clear what's wrong with the liberal democratic model of taking your vision of the common good, as we would talk about it in the West. Take your vision of the common good, take that vision to others, persuade them of it, and through persuasion bring about the vision of the common good that you think is best for people. I still don't quite see why that route's so impossible.
Firstly, I thank you for the compliments. Secondly, I assure you, I have not at all read Marxism, not at all studied Marx. My source is the Book of Allah and the Sunnah and Seerah, we call it, the life of Muhammad. And I said it in the very beginning. I have derived this from the life of the Prophet. My source is the life of the Prophet. And I have inferred these 6 or 7 steps from that. But it can be a coincidence that because this is also a revolutionary view, so the other revolutionaries, there can be a similarity between our thought and our ideas. Now actually liberal democracy is first of all based on the principle of human sovereignty. No acceptance of divine authority. Here our paths are separated. And I think to the humanity at large, to reach them, the only way is to establish that political, socio-economic order in some one country. That will be a model. This was the vision of Iqbal, this was the vision of Qaid-e-Azam. We have failed utterly up till now. And the biggest blame I give to Maulana Maududi for his turn from that revolutionary struggle to a political struggle. Maybe in the next near future something else happens. That's all. I thank you, and I...
Dr. Norton, please.
I too want to, I want to reiterate, say again what Ian just said, and I don't need to repeat his words, they were very good, about how impressive and instructive actually, for me, and I'm sure for the rest of us, you were. In terms of revolution, as it would not surprise you, I'm sure, it seems to me that given the present situation in this world, and also in Pakistan that you described at the end of your discourse today, it seems to me you do indeed need Allah to change ideas and opinions before you can have a successful revolution. That's just one comment. You can comment upon it.
And I agree 100%.
All right. Now,
divine help is a must.
All right. Now, I have a question, but before that question, I just want to say that my major disagreement with you in terms of the revolution that you propose, I suppose, is the goal of the revolution. That is, unless Allah changes the ideas and the beliefs, I would say to you, of all the people that exist, then it seems to me that the goal of your revolution, which is an Islamic state, first here in Pakistan or Afghanistan, and then throughout the world, that goal is something to which I object and I oppose, because that goal does not allow equal freedom and equal rights for all people, regardless of whether they believe as you do or whether they believe in Islam or not. And I must also say that if I were in one of the countries and that revolution came, and it came as the end part, as an armed revolution, that I would say that in terms of my beliefs, I would engage in armed conflict against that, because that's against my principles. That also, I'm sure, doesn't surprise you. Now I come to my question.